Good morning. So glad you can join us today as we take a peek at how we make learning fun. Before we get started and before my class gets here, I wanted to go over the setup with you so you can see exactly how you can easily make this happen in your classroom. This is called mathematical speed dating. Now, if you remember, some of us weren't born yet, not me of course, but speed dating was kind of this big trend that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. Nowadays you guys just use apps and swipe left and right to figure out what you want to or do not want to go out to see if you're compatible, but speed dating was set up much like we have right here. A table with two chairs where two different individuals would rotate throughout the whole room, sometimes a conference hall or something similar, restaurant, and they would get to know each other. But for mathematical speed dating, we already know each other. I generally use this as a review day before a quiz or a test, so our students can not only refresh what we've learned at the beginning of the lesson, they can also begin to strengthen what we might have just covered at the end. I love mathematical speed dating because while yes, I'm around, I'm involved, I am circulating the room to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, it's really student-led. So for materials, it's super simple. Okay. Now what I do is I take, and you have however many problems you need. So my biggest class is 24. So I would have 12 individual problems stationed around the room. You can station them in rows like this, or you can put them in a circle where your inside of your circle rotates clockwise while the outside of your circle rotates counterclockwise. And I found that each station should have two problems. So you can see this is the same problem, but I want to be able to give one to each student so that way they're ready. So each problem is going to be stationed throughout the classroom, and as it's stationed throughout the classroom, the students are going to move so they're not stuck in one place. The amount of time you give them is up to you, and it really depends on the type of problems you're dealing with. You want to make sure the most difficult problem that you have for the day is the amount of time that every kid should get, because at least one group is going to have that most difficult problem every time. You can have them recorded on their own sheet of paper, but where I got this information from, my coworker, Miss Crystal Wadiga, introduced us to this website called Mathematic. Mathematic was founded by Lindsay Gallis and Luke Wilcox, and Sarah Stetcher also contribute to it. And what it is, it's an EFFL model, which is the experience first, formalize later. So they have a whole awesome website that's dedicated to geometry, algebra 2, and pre-calculus right now, but they're adding to it and growing it every single day. I'm going to throw that link right here. As we go through this problem, each student is going to have their own sheet. Now you can print them out, or you can be a little more cost efficient if you're a one-to-one school, and you can just post this as a PDF onto their Google Classroom or Schoology or whatever learning engagement software you already use, and have it as a PDF, and they can write and go from there. But what each student's going to do is, they're almost here now, is they're going to go through and they're going to solve this problem, and that's what we're going to do next. So what happens is, when your kids come in, okay, they're going to all find a spot. Doesn't matter where they start, they just want to start, and then we have one guy that's by himself. And the good thing about the guy that's by himself, if it's a particularly weak student in that subject, you can always, as the teacher, sit down and spend the entire 2 minutes or whatever the time allotted is with that particular student, or if it's a strong student like this young man, you can let him be while you're walking around and looking. I'm just going to go over to the board, smart board, start a timer, and then they can work on it for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes you'll see them switch. Early, and that's going to happen. You never know. It depends on each class. So rather than have them sit there quietly for 30 seconds, what you can do is you can stop the timer and just have them rotate. So now this row is going to go to their right, and this row is going to go to their right. And then we'll end up with one empty desk again.
because we go to our
Correct. Bam. So what you see is you've got all brand new partners. So nobody is stuck working with the same person. Not one person is carrying the entire workload. There was a timer. And as the students get ready to go, they'll be able to do the same exact thing again. So you just turn your timer off and then reset. Everybody's finished going through all the stations. Again, you determine how many numbers of stations there needs to be depending on your class size. So it can be a bigger number or a smaller number. It all depends on what your needs as the teacher. Right, so after everybody's finished, you can go through with the class if you have time, and you can work on the problem together as a class. So what we're doing is I'm airplaying my iPad using the GoodNotes app to the smartboard through AirPlay, and we're just going to go through the two problems they did as a group together. So we look at A. Okay, this is a triangle. We don't necessarily know if it's equilateral or anything because they don't tell us, but we do know that thanks to the triangle sum theorem, that no matter what, the inside of this triangle is always going to add up to be 180 degrees. So like the boys did, they took the three angle measures and added them together and set it equal to 180. After that, they combined like terms. So we've got our x terms, we've got our constant terms. We ended up with 6x plus 6 is 180. Subtract 6 from both sides. And then divide both sides by 6. And we ended up with, of course, 29. So this could be a super simple, super quick, easy to set up review day that will keep your students engaged the entire class period and keep them rolling and increase their skills.